thank you for joining me for another full body Pilates workout. We'll take our places in tabletop to start, with wrists under our shoulders and knees under our hips as we take our first inhale and exhale into a sternum drop as I allow my chest to rise and fall with my breath, keeping those arms as straight as possible, mobilizing the upper back with our breath work. This is a really beautiful way to begin a Pilates session. Get in tune with your body. Making sure we're moving with control and precision. Coming into our final repetition here and lifting off of those hands. We'll come back into tabletop and move into our next exercise. We'll begin here with a bird dog exercise, reaching out through my right arm, left leg just parallel to the ground and returning it back to center. And I want you to think about inhaling as you return, exhaling to extend through the opposite arm and leg. Now here on this next bird dog, we're going to hold that parallel position and then bring the elbow towards the knee, rounding through the spine, crunching through those abdominal muscles and taking it back out parallel to the ground for a few reps, rounding through the spine and reaching through those limbs. Amazing job. Come back to tabletop, recenter yourself, and we'll go ahead on the opposite side, rounding and reaching. Extending for one final time, rounding, reaching, and returning to center. Go ahead and come off of your hands. Give those wrists a little shake. And our next exercise will also be done from a tabletop position. We'll flex through that right foot, bring it into dorsiflexion, kicking it up as high as you can, taking it around back to center for 2 more. Great job. Last one. Kick up, rotate around, keep that knee hovered. We're coming out and back in for 2 more clamshells. One last clamshell. You can rest that knee, relax that foot, flexing through the left foot. We'll begin on the other side, kicking up, squeezing through those glutes, rotating through the hip, returning knee under hip. Beautiful job. We're here for 2. Last one. Taking it around. Remain in that hovered position as we open and close for 2. And 1. Beautiful job. Relax that foot. Come off of the wrists once more. Shake it out. And heading right back into tabletop for our final exercise. We're flexing through the right foot, kicking up, continuing with a few of those leg circles, out and around. And on this last one, we're holding and we're pulsing. Keep that tempo steady, hang in there. Amazing job. Return the knee under hip. We're heading into that kick up, rotating through the hip, back to center, kicking up, rotating around. Let's do one more. Beautiful job on this next one. I want you to hold that kick and we're pulsing. working through those glutes. Amazing job. Hang in there. You're almost there. Amazing job. Come off of those wrists. Woof. You did it. Go ahead and take the long side of your mat. We'll be starting in a seated position. Knees bent, feet flat. My hands are right under my thighs. As I slowly round the spine, lower myself back onto my forearms. From here, we'll bring the knees up to a tabletop position. Keep the knees and feet together. And we're lowering on the exhale, returning to tabletop on the inhale. Doing a few of these tabletop crunches. And if these tabletop crunches are feeling a little difficult for you, don't be afraid when you get to the bottom to rest your feet, disengage those muscles for a moment, and then return those knees to that tabletop position. It's one way to scale it here, just like I did there. Planting those feet on the mat, relaxing yourself for a bit, take that little breath, and return to center. And as we work through 1 or 2 more reps here, breathing, lowering ourselves down onto our backs all of the way. Grab your knees, disengage those abdominal muscles, take a breather, rocking side to side here, opening a little wide through the knees just to get a nice stretch. And I'm going to lay all the way down for this next bit. Knees are still in tabletop from here. We're heading into a reverse crunch position. And you'll notice that I recenter myself in tabletop, but as I take my inhale, I'm shifting my feet forward just slightly to get a little extra momentum. And then as I exhale, I'm pressing through the ground, lifting my hips off of the mat and slowly returning to tabletop. This particular exercise does require a bit more core strength, so if you feel like you're not able to get your knees close to your face here, don't worry. As long as you get a little bit of a hip lift off of the mat, that's all we want. It's going to look different for everyone. We just want to make sure we're keeping those arms down and we're breathing at the right times for this exercise. Knees come to chest. We're going to form a tight little ball and rock ourselves to seated. Beautiful job. For our next exercise, I want you to set up in side plank, leaning onto one forearm with your elbow right underneath your shoulder. Arm is extended in line with the shoulder, and my feet are in front of my hips to start this modified side teaser here. So it might not look like it from this angle that you're viewing me, but I do have my feet towards the front corner of the mat and my hips are about 6 to 8 inches behind that to create this little bit of a banana shaped angle there. And I'm leaning back onto my glute. On the exhale, leaning back onto one glute and lifting those legs towards my hands, returning to center. And I want to show you how you can also scale this movement. If the core strength is not there for the extended leg side teaser, what you can also do is bend through the knees. Let's set up on the other side, elbow under shoulder. Again, hips are set a little behind the feet, my free arms in line with my torso as I exhale, leaning onto that glute and lifting and lowering. We want the tempo here to be the same on the way up as the way down. Beautiful job. And don't forget, you can bend through the knees and bring the feet towards your hands in that manner. But go ahead and give the extended leg version a try. You may surprise yourself, especially if you've been doing some of my Pilates workouts before. We've incorporated some different variations to this. All right, next exercise, lying down on the mat, supine position, creating a cactus shape with my arms here. Knees and feet are stacked. I'm going to drop those knees over to one side and do some breath work in this position as I breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. We're in that cool down portion now, so we're lowering our heart rate, spending a little extra time in each of these positions, decompressing that lower spine area, stretching out the hips. Wonderful job returning those knees back to center, keeping them together. And on the exhale, tipping over to the other side. Clearing our mind, doing our breath work. Big inhales, big exhales. Returning to center, bring those arms inside the legs as you bring your feet up, and your hands will wrap on the outside of the feet here as we hold this happy baby pose and breathe into this stretch. You'll feel the weight of your legs opening up those hips, and if you want to add a little side to side motion in there, feel free to do that if it feels nice. And I'm going to go ahead and release those hands from my feet and come out of this position. You're more than welcome to hold it for a little longer. And that's going to conclude our session today. Thank you again so much for joining me for another Pilates workout. I'll catch you next time. Bye, friends.